Tuesday, January 24th, meeting of the Common Council to order. Mr. Davis, will you lead us in the pledge?
We always thinking about that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Lees, will you call the roll?
Mr. Ayer,
Present.
Mr. Boyce,
Present.
Mr. Davis,
Present.
Mr. O'Connor,
Present.
Mr. Peterson,
Present.
Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Sparks,
Present.
Ms. Wiles, present, Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the executive session memorandum from January 10th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the executive session memorandum from January 10th. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Approval of the minutes from January 10th.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Approval of the agenda.
Mr. President, I
Mr.
would
Peterson.
move to amend the agenda to add miscellaneous number 4, which is a report from the Hamilton County Community Foundation.
I would second that.
There's a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include a report from the Hamilton County Community Foundation as miscellaneous 4. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
Mr. President,
Madam Wiles.
I would move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Petitions or comments by citizens who are present. I do not have any, but if you would like to speak, there are cards out there and you can hand them to Ms. Lees and we will hear those during the item that you are speaking about. Council reports. I have finance this evening.
Mr. President, the Finance Committee met January 19th. The agenda was fairly limited, although we did have a robust conversation about agenda that's on our, or item on our agenda this evening for riot fire protection and a tax abatement. Excited to see 45,000 additional square feet to be added to their existing site. Mr. Zalgowski informed us of some merit-based pay adjustments. I believe that's also on our agenda this evening. And Mr. Spalding walked us through some of the uses of the GO bonds, the one-year bonds that we issue annually for projects, and some of the other items that are on our agenda tonight, fiscal and debt actions, and that was essentially it, but good meeting.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connor. Approval of the claims.
I move to approve the claims.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Miscellaneous number 1, council to consider resolution RC-8-23. A resolution approving an economic development agreement between the city of Noblesville and a development partner. Mr. Mayor Jensen.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. It's an honor to rise before you. This is actually an incredibly exciting day. Every day is an exciting day in Noblesville, but some more than others. Just ask the street department tomorrow. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But tonight, I get to bring in front of you 2 great projects. One, Mr. O'Connor mentioned earlier, Ryan Fire Protection. But first, a project that really is probably a year plus in the making of conversations. Oftentimes, big economic development opportunities like this don't happen overnight. Even though mayors and county or city council members wish they did, they take months of work and relationships and discussions and feedback. And tonight is the culmination. From my perspective and the start from others' perspective of an amazing opportunity. So I'm here to present to you, as you stated, Resolution 823 that will approve an economic development agreement with our friends at Bastion Solutions. Bastion Solutions is proposing to centralize their manufacturing, engineering, and corporate headquarters operations through the development of a long-term corporate campus here in Noblesville. Quick summary, and I'm going to let some of our friends from Bastion tell you a little bit more about them, and they've done a great job, and they've told many of us about them many times. They're going to tell you again tonight about all the great things that they do. But they are a Toyota Advanced Logistics Group owned company. They are the premier supply chain integration partner that offers solution through technology and innovation. They have multiple sites here in Indiana, and that they'll be consolidating here in this project going forward. Before I get too far, I really owe a huge debt of gratitude and thanks to our Economic Development Director, Andrew Murray, Community Development Director, Sarah Reed, and also our friends at Genovis, who are here with them tonight, Larry Gigrich and Chad Sweeney, who have been both great partners on this and several other projects with us. But I'm going to introduce shortly two new friends of mine. Well, one's an old friend and one's a new friend, but Travis Hudak and Greg Connor, both of Bastion, are here tonight to present the project to you. When I think about Bastion, I've learned a lot about them, having been able to travel to some of their sites and understand or begin to understand what they do. But I think about words such as excellence, trusted, reputable, and committed. Those are four words that really come to mind when I think about Bastion and think about their story and what they bring to the city of Noblesville. So what are they going to bring to the city of Noblesville? This is a $130 million initial capital investment with multiple phases of growth. They will retain nearly 400 jobs on this site and create 250 new jobs over the next 5 years. There'll be over 1 million square feet of new development when all is said and done, the first phase of which will be roughly 560,000 square feet. I think about their core values, I think about the city of Noblesville's core values, and I'll tell you a little bit about theirs. Community service, thinking big, customer service, integrity, culture, and innovation. All words I think this council and certainly our administration would be more than happy to be aligned with when it comes to a business partner in the city of Noblesville. They share our vision. They are a targeted industry that we have been laser focused on during our administration. They're the right jobs for our target industries and our city's future. They're building upon existing corporate partnerships that we have and the international presence certainly we have on the 146th Street corridor. They match up pretty nicely. To quickly orient you, as I mentioned, we are going to talk a little bit about the 146th Street corridor. This project encompasses 160 acres on the southeast corner of 146th and Promise Road. As I said, 160 acres. The size will meet their immediate needs, but will also accommodate their growth for the next 25 years. And as we look to make a co-investment in this project, I think a long-term commitment is what we always like to see with companies like Bastion, and we certainly are going to see that with this kind of commitment. So what you have in front of you is a economic development agreement for your approval. It's a tremendous opportunity for us to align our values, align our future, align our city's vision and economic growth with a company who shares those with you. Like all projects that we bring before you, I'm 100% confident that Bastion Solutions is going to fit the Noblesville way, will be an outstanding corporate partner, is here for the long haul to invest not only in our city, but our citizens and all that makes Noblesville great. I'm asking you to consider this investment, which will consist of a cash grant up front, tax abatement, as well as fee waivers. With that, I'm going to conclude my comments and obviously happy to answer any questions that you may have tonight. I'm going to turn it over to my friends from Bastion who can give a great presentation. I want you to know personally that this resolution and agreement comes to you with my full support and our administration's full support as we continue to grow the economic base in Noblesville. So happy to take any questions, or I will turn it over to, who's up? Both of the team, Greg Connor and Travis Hudak, who are going to walk you through a presentation on Bastion. But thank you for allowing me to present this tonight, and welcome to Noblesville, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to everybody for allowing us the opportunity to present tonight. As Mayor Jensen mentioned, my name is Travis Hudak. I'm the CFO of Bastion Solutions. Greg is our Senior Vice President of Corporate Development. He already mentioned my intro to the Genovis team. again, who has been instrumental as part of facilitating this process, navigating everything that we haven't ever seen before, working with teams such as Andrew and Sarah Reed. Mayor Jansen, I think, mentioned partner probably 4 or 5 times in his intro, which is hard to follow because I had those same words in my presentation. But in all honesty, the partnership that we've developed over this last year and a half and so is a testament to not only Mayor Jansen, but to also his team, Andrew Murray, Sarah Reed, that he mentioned. And I think that's indicative of the future success this project can not only have for Bastion Solution, but also the city of Noblesville with that partnership in hand. With that, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, also a strong partnership with them throughout this entire process. So for me, we've talked about excitement a lot when we're standing out there. Tonight's a really exciting moment for me, for the organization. I'm looking forward to continuing the partnership, continue working through all the associated approvals through the life of this project. And honestly, with that, without further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to Greg to tell you a little bit more about Bastion Solutions and Project Noble. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Mayor. This is a very exciting time for our company and for Travis and I to stand up here. It's been a long journey. As the mayor said, the journey for the city may be getting to a conclusion part, but ours is just beginning. There's a lot of work ahead of us. But I've been with Bastion Solutions for coming up on 18 years now. I've seen a tremendous amount of growth within our industry and within our company. Been in a variety of different roles. But in addition to that, I'm a lifelong Noblesville resident and a 2001 Noblesville High School graduate. So it's very exciting for me personally for this project to be right here in Noblesville. As the mayor said, we're a supply chain integration company. Our world-class automation systems include cutting-edge technologies like conveyor systems, sortation systems, automated storage and retrieval systems, robotics, and automated guided vehicles. The systems we integrate improve people's lives. They make warehouse and manufacturing jobs safer and more efficient. Our systems improve the supply chain, and they allow goods to reach store shelves and each and every one of our doorsteps faster and with more visibility. Some of our over 8,000 customers across the globe include companies you are probably very familiar with, such as Dick's Sporting Goods, Puma, Eli Lilly and Company, SMC Corporation, Best Buy, Chewy.com, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, Boeing, and Amazon, to just name a few. Our company was founded in 1952 in Indianapolis. Back then, we were a conventional material handling company. In fact, the motto of the company was, "If it rolls, we provide it." Over the past 70 years, we've grown to become an industry leader, integrating some of the world's most advanced automation systems. Our current corporate headquarters are located in Carmel at 106th and Meridian. And here in Indiana, we have manufacturing facilities located in Greenfield, Westfield, and Indianapolis. We employ over 1,400 employees worldwide across 16 states and 5 countries. And one thing that's unique about Bastion Solutions is that about 50% of our employees come to us with some type of technical background, whether it be an engineering degree or some type of STEM-based curriculum. Prior to 2017, we were a 3rd-generation family-owned business. In 2017, we became part of Toyota Industries Corporation, which employs over 70,000 people across 276 different companies. TECO's main areas of focus include textile manufacturing, fork trucks and material handling, what we do, and also support of their sister company, the Toyota Motors Corporation. We, as Bastion Solutions, report up through a division within TECO called Toyota Advanced Logistics Group, and we currently have 2 sister companies that do very much the same type of work that we do, and that's Vonderlande, which is out of the Netherlands, and Viastor, which is out of Germany. Toyota is an unbelievable parent company, and the city of Noblesville will absolutely love being part of having Toyota in the community. They strive to be the world's best in everything that they do. Our company is passionate about not only giving back to our communities, but also getting involved in those communities. And one of the things that's so cool about Project Naboo and creating this corporate campus is that now we can focus our energies and our efforts on one community as opposed to spreading those across multiple communities. So now we want to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about our corporate campus project. We executed a purchase agreement, as the mayor said, to acquire 162 acres here at Noblesville at 146 and Promise Road. And we've committed to invest $130 million and create 650 jobs over the next 5 years. Our company is poised for significant growth, and this campus is a vital component of the future of Bastion Solutions. It's our intention to construct a campus that the community will not only be proud of, but also will be able to be a part of. As you can see in the animation, we're planning in outdoor gathering spaces, which include pavilions, walking trails, and other amenities. Our intention is that these amenities will continue to help us attract and retain top talent, as well as be available for the community to enjoy. The initial phase of the campus will include approximately 400,000 square feet of manufacturing space, as well as separate buildings for our new corporate headquarters and what we're referring to as our innovation center. Those will encompass about 180,000 square feet. Overall, the land will allow us to expand in excess of 1 million square feet and be a home for anywhere from the next 25 to 50 years. We believe this is a vital part of the future of Bastion Solutions. Significant attention has been given to the campus aesthetics, especially along 146th Street. We consider ourselves to be a very innovative and forward-thinking company, and we want our campus to reflect those qualities. Thank you for your time this evening. We're happy to address any questions that you may have, and very, very much looking forward to being part of the Noblesville community.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the Bastion team? Mr. O'Connor?
Well, first, thanks for coming and giving us that presentation, very enlightening. This is a very exciting opportunity, I think, for both of us. So partnership certainly is the right word, but I always seem to ask this question, but from a timeline perspective, how soon do you think you can start the process moving? I know some of it depends on the administration and permitting and some of those kinds of things.
We're really, really excited about this project. In fact, Travis and I have spent the better part of this entire day in meetings talking about that very subject. So we're hopeful to get started just as very fast as we can. We're going through the due diligence process right now on the land. In fact, we've got surveyors and other different entities that have been out there over the last few weeks, and we're raring to go.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is, as we think about designing something for the next 25 to 50 years, we want to make sure we're designing it right the first time and making it a statement, right? So there's going to be some time that we make sure we get things right at the start and not just jump right in, but the sooner the better in my mind. So.
No, appreciate those comments, thanks.
I would just join in what Mr. O'Connor said. Welcome to the city. We're so excited to have you and excited about this project. And as you say, you like to give back. I would tell you that there's a really good pool in town that's always looking for
I left that alone.
With that, if somebody would make a motion?
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
I would move that we approve Resolution RC-8-23 as presented.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve Resolution RC-8-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous number 2, council to consider resolution RC-6-23. A resolution approving an economic development agreement with Ryan Fire Protection, Inc.
Can we read the second one as well? The next one? Together?
We can read it together. Actually, do they need to be separate votes, the second and third? Okay. And we'll also introduce miscellaneous number 3, council to consider resolution RC-7-23, a resolution approving a tax abatement for Ryan Fire Protection, Inc. Mayor Jensen.
Mr. President, it's great to be back up here again. The hits keep rolling tonight. This is great. I get to come before you tonight to discuss RC 623 and RC 723. Councilor O'Connor mentioned this project earlier, and I'm excited to be here with our friends from Ryan Fire Protection. I think this is really the tale of two investments here tonight. One is a brand new investment in a huge corporate area, and one is doubling down on their existing investment, which is equally as important to our administration and our growth as the city continues. So Ryan Fire Protection is deciding to further investment. Noblesville will expand their headquarter operation. They are located at the northwest corner of 148th Street and Cumberland Road. Ryan Fire Protection established its roots there in 2002 and has since grown to be one of the largest fire protection services companies in the Midwest, providing commercial and industrial fire protection services all across the United States. I want to recognize our partners in this. Dan Ryan, who is here, you'll hear from shortly, is the owner. Brian Teben is the CFO as well. I also want to take a moment and thank, from our economic development team, I thanked them earlier, but also want to add on Chuck Haberman, Amy Smith, and Sarah Davis and their team in the economic development department. It is an all hands on. It's a small but mighty crew down there, and they are certainly landing the plane in 2023, which I'm really, really excited. So I appreciate the efforts that they've put in on this project as well. Due to their recent and projected growth, Ryan Fire Protection needs to expand their operations. I will tell you, I had many conversations with my friend Dan Ryan, and I can assure you that they looked not only in the great city of Noblesville, but also looked elsewhere as well. And I think that's responsible, and I respect that, and I think he came to the right conclusion, which I certainly respect as well. And he came back to where he needed to be, here in Noblesville, which is great. Their current footprint, as Councilor O'Connor mentioned, is 45,000 square feet. They want to double that to 90,000 square feet. They're looking at a total capital investment of $4.5 million, retaining 25 high-quality jobs, adding 10 new jobs over time. This abatement, which was discussed in the Finance Committee, will be a 7-year real property abatement, a 4-year personal property abatement. The real property abatement started at an 80% abatement, which is something that we have discussed quite a bit with the council in terms of our incentive moving forward. This is a commitment to ensure that this great company stays here and grows here in Noblesville, which I think is vitally important. So I'm going to ask the council to continue to make this investment and show our commitment to Ryan Fire Protection, a company who really does a lot more than just fire protection. They invest heavily in philanthropy here in the city of Noblesville and all over central Indiana, which means so much to us. You can see a common theme from the companies that you have standing here tonight. It's more than just business. It truly is a partnership and a family here in the city of Noblesville. With that, I'll conclude my comments and just say that this resolution and agreement comes to you with my full support, as well as the Council's Finance Committee, and request that this be approved as presented this evening. One final note, I would just like to say, I certainly believe in the state of Indiana that local units of government, particularly here in Noblesville, are leading the way when it comes to investment in our state. I believe that we have what it takes to continue to move our state forward, to grow our state's economy, and I'm proud of the work that we are doing right here in our cities and towns, in particular the one that we're in here today in Noblesville, the one that we love the most. So editorial comment, but with that, happy to answer any questions, or I'll introduce my good friend Dan Ryan, who can come up and answer any questions you have for him. Dan? They don't have any questions for me, Trevor. It's all you.
If I could just make one recommendation, 'cause this is my first meeting. You should announce the $5 million job before the $130 million. This is tough to follow. No, we've been your neighbor for 20 plus years. We're getting ready to double down, like the mayor said. I want to thank him for his help and his patience to get us to this point. We plan to break ground in 3 weeks, so we're hoping for a yes vote. We will be done by August, hopefully September. So, super excited.
Any questions?
Questions?
I mean, that's what I wanted to hear.
I like it.
Any other questions?
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
I would move that we approve resolution RC-6-23 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve Resolution RC-6-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
Mr. President, I would move to approve RC 723.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve RC-7-23. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Go for it and expand. Thank you.
Miscellaneous number 4, a presentation this evening from the Hamilton County Community Foundation. Mr. Killian.
Thank you and good evening. It's great to see everybody. This evening I'm joined with 2 of our colleagues from the foundation, Anita Rogers, one of our community leadership officers, as well as Gina Siley, who oversees community leadership for us here in Hamilton County. Tonight is frankly really exciting for us to be able to present to the council. There's been a long history with the city of Noblesville and the Community Foundation, and one that we certainly value and cherish the relationship. In the last 5 years, the Community Foundation has continued to see significant growth. It's more than doubled its assets. It continues on an annual basis to grant out more dollars every year. In fact, 2021, although it was a pretty tough year from a market perspective, was our highest year in our history of grants to the community. So as we're pulling this up, we'll try to keep our presentation pretty tight tonight. We certainly want to take some time to show the council the grants that were made through co-investment of the Community Foundation and the gracious dollars that the city gives us on an annual basis. Maybe to kick off just a bit, I believe you have this packet in front of you, but as some of you will see, the Community Foundation also continues to grow in size. For many years, it was a foundation of 2. And so we continue to grow. We are currently looking for a development officer, so if anybody has any recommendations, we would love to receive those. Our board, moving into 2022, is presented here. Many of the names you will recognize on there. Lisa Allen is our chair in 2022. She will be the chair again in 2023. The next slide is just showing our current grants committee. You'll notice that we've highlighted those names that are representing Noblesville on our committee. And then just a quick overview here of our grants in 2021. So we granted a total of $747,986 to Hamilton County not-for-profits. It starts to break it down by initiatives. Last time we presented to the council, we talked a little bit about this, but the Community Foundation continues to drive really in 3 primary areas: behavioral health or mental health, family and youth empowerment, as well as inclusive economic growth. You'll see there that we have grants and we divide them that are county-wide. Those grants still have an effect on Noblesville and other communities throughout Hamilton County, but they're multifaceted that affect multiple communities. And then you can see there we divided it into our different communities, and you see that northern Hamilton County gets clumped into one. Moving on, I'll turn it over to Anita here briefly to talk specifically about the Noblesville allocation and what we were able to do this past year with those dollars.
Thank you, Tom. And I just wanted to echo what Tom said. First off, just appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I know it's a packed agenda, so we will keep it short. But also just to acknowledge, we appreciate really the unique partnership that we have with the city and the Noblesville Fund. We don't take that lightly. We don't take that for granted. And we want to be the best stewards that we can to make the most significant and positive impact for the not-for-profits that we're going to walk you through that we fund on a yearly basis, but more importantly, the clients, the residents that are served by these organizations. So specifically today, the Noblesville residents. And from a personal standpoint, as a longtime Noblesville resident, I won't date myself, but I'm proud to be a Noblesville resident and proud to have raised my family here, 2 kids that have gone through Noblesville schools, and our youngest is a sophomore at Noblesville High School. So I'm proud to always see the positive impact we're making in Hamilton County, but it adds some special significance for Noblesville. So with that, looking at 2022, and we were asked if we could look at really just a synopsis of 2022 Noblesville Fund grant. And so I won't read all this to you because you have it, but I thought it was important to break it down because Gina and I are really proud of not only the funds that we're able to steward, the Noblesville Fund, but also if you look at the 11 that we granted in 2022, Shepherd Center of Hamilton County, Indiana Center for the Prevention of Youth Abuse and Suicide, Trinity Free Clinic, Nickel Plate Arts, Agape Therapeutic Writing Resources, Noblesville School Ed Foundation. And before I jump to the next page, there's the remaining 5. I wanted to walk you through, let's take Noblesville Schools Ed Foundation as an example, that when they applied for a grant, and we review it, we turn it over to our grants committee, and they make a recommendation to our board. We were able to fund from the Noblesville Fund $8,000, and that was for student services. But I think the really unique part of our partnership, our relationship, is that we can also pull in dollars from other competitive grant funds. So for that one, we pulled in money from our community endowment, from the Jack Arnold Russell Fund, from the Dale Snelling Endowment Fund. So with that co-investment, we went from $8,000 that the city of Noblesville funded to a total of $20,000. So we were able to give Noblesville School Ed Foundation $20,000, and I know Adrian Young was thrilled to have that to support all the schools. And then moving on to the next page, the remaining 5 that we funded in 2022, Girls on the Run, Indiana Peony Festival, Second Helpings, Boys and Girls Club of Noblesville, and Million Meal Movement. So grand total, it's a $50,000 that we manage for the city. There's a $500 fee that we have to remove, so remaining $49,500 that we granted out to those 11 orgs. And then the total co-investment was $111,429 for a total grant award to those 11 orgs of $160,929. And then just to give you a quick snapshot of what our partnership has been in the past, from '94 to '06, it was $25,000 per year. '07 to '16, $35,000, and then 2017 to the present, $50,000. And just to give you kind of a 7-year look back, excuse me, the city of Noblesville, through their fund, we were able to award $303,929, but with the co-investment of the other funds that I kind of outlined, that's an additional $717,378 for a total grant funding of $1,021,307. And just want to note, one other item I did wanted to note, of those 11 grants that we funded in 2022, I looked to see how many did we fund overall. That kind of gives you an idea of how many funds did we award in the entire Hamilton County community, and there were 33 grants for a total of $459,236. So I think that speaks, really highly of Noblesville and what we've been able to do with our partnership. That a third of the grants were these 11, so a third benefited Noblesville residents, and it was 35% of our overall funding. So with that, we're going to move to have Tom talk about looking forward.
Great, thanks, Anita. The first piece up here is just a quick slide. There's been some changes in how our board is going to be moving forward with our grants process. as well as our grants committee. So we wanted to make sure the council was aware of that grants timeline as we move forward. That is also something we'll be publishing, not only on our website, but communicating with all of our not-for-profits. The next slide really jumps into, go ahead, Anita, thanks. Really jumps into, I think, a conversation that all of us have been having with different constituents, whether it be you as a council or with the mayor, really about what does this partnership look like moving forward? And we really summarized it in 3 different ways. And that first piece is really about communication. What are we doing on an annual basis to make sure that there's communication, that we understand from the city's perspective what are our important priorities, what are important organizations that we need to be speaking to. So our commitment to you is that we will make sure that we are communicating, that there are touch points with the mayor, as well as any of you that would like to have a conversation about different organizations. The second piece that's going to be a pretty large change is this strategic alignment idea. The Community Foundation is going to continue driving from that 3-pillar perspective, but we as a board think it's incredibly important that we start understanding what our priorities are in our different cities, towns, communities throughout Hamilton County. So I've requested from the mayor a list of the city's priorities that will be presented to our grants committee as well as our board, so that both understand what the priorities are and where the city's trying to drive. And really the third is this idea of representation. Our grants committee, as I just alluded to, will be changing. In the past, it's really been a pipeline to the board. It accepts up to 25, 30 members at times onto that committee. That committee will be shrinking in size. There will be 6 appointed board members and 5 elected community members. We have asked the mayor that one of those 5 community members be a Noblesville representative on behalf of the Hamilton County Community Foundation Board. So we're really excited about that piece as well, and I'm working with the mayor to understand how we move forward with that recommendation. With that, we'd love to open it up to any questions that the council might have.
Thank you. Any questions for the team?
I just, a comment, Mr. President, you see the investment that the city's made and, with the leverage you've got there, you can 3X, what the city had contributed, and I think it's great to see that you've got the capability to do that. Despite the fact the county having been as successful as it has been and continues to grow, there's still a need out there, particularly in that behavioral health world. We've recognized it. We've funded some projects that the mayor brought along, and I think that just need to continue to work diligently to take care of these folks that need our help. So, but I appreciate all the work you've done, and I look forward to seeing what 2023 will bring.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Previously discussed ordinances. Council to consider ordinance number 1-1-23, an ordinance adopting a change of zoning from R1 single-family residential and 2-family residential to R4 single-family residential for the retreat at Morse Development as amended. We will read this with the second as well. Council to consider ordinance number 2-1-23, an ordinance adopting a change of zoning from R4 single-family and 2-family residential, including a preliminary development plan for the retreat at Morse Development as amended. Ms. Ashley.
Good evening. I really don't have anything to add from my presentation last meeting, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Ms. Ashelman? Or for the applicant?
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
I would move that we approve ordinance.
Wait, we got to amend them first.
Oh, we have to amend, sorry.
Mr. President, I would move that we amend ordinances 0101-23 and 0201-23 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to amend ordinances number 1-1-23 and number 2-1-23 as presented. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
There you go.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve ordinance 01-0123 as amended.
Second.
We can do both.
We can do both at the same time?
If you want.
So then I would also motion that we approve ordinance 02-01-23 as amended.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinances number 1-1-23 and 2-1-23 as amended. This will be a roll call vote.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Sparks?
Aye.
Ms. Wiles?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nay, the ordinances are adopted.
Thank you. Now on to transfers. Council to consider transfer TA-3-23A through C, appropriation transfers and multiple funds for merit-based pay adjustments for city employees. Mr. Zalgowski.
Yes, good evening. What you have in front of you is a transfer request. As part of the 2023 budget, we set aside a certain amount of money into non-departmental for personal services contingency to cover any of those one-off situations for pay adjustments outside of things like the 3% across the board pay adjustment. This is one of those situations, so we're just simply asking for a transfer from that non-departmental contingency into the appropriate departmental budgets to cover those merit-based pay adjustments. This is not an increase to the 2023 budget. This is still within that original budgetary line, and just a formality.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Zalgowski?
Mr. President,
Mr. O'Connor?
I'd move we approve transfer TA-03-23A through C as presented.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve transfers TA-3-23A through C. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Time for council comments. Anyone have anything?
Be careful tomorrow, depending on what the weather will bring, Mr. Mayor. You may have some
Yeah,
additional
just real
comment.
quick, I was gonna say, please stay tuned to the City of Noblesville's Facebook page. Patty Johnson and her team and John Mann and his team will be out on the roads. We've been in constant contact with Noblesville schools. I think we'll have an announcement imminently as well about tomorrow. Some other schools have already made decisions tonight for tomorrow. So just please be weather aware and give our guys and gals on the road space to do their job, and let us know how we can continue to serve you.
Thank you. Anything else? We are adjourned.